It's nuts. What's really cool to see is like, you might be the strongest guy in this whole gym, but a lot of people just have this really strong technique and they're doing really well on the wall.
I wouldn't have the strongest forearm and finger strength.
Yeah.
Back strength is different. That's why I like the ones that incline, because I can basically just hang and just use technique.
That's so interesting. So did you have a sports background? Like what sports did you play growing up?
I played soccer mainly.
Okay.
And then
Interesting.
did a lot of sprinting as well.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do like martial art or like rugby or something.
Yeah.
My parents didn't trust me doing either of them.
How come?
I don't know. I think they thought I was too aggressive.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got to do the less aggressive sports.
Were you very competitive as a child?
Pretty competitive.
Okay, I can see that.
I was like very internally competitive. Not in the sense that I'd compete with others, but I wouldn't. If someone just met me, they wouldn't tell how competitive I was. Kind of like I see this in many top performers.
Yeah.
Where like internally, like look at Lionel Messi, right?
Yeah.
If you watch him, he doesn't look competitive or talk about how competitive he is, but like insane level of competition inside.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of like that.
Interesting.
You know, like losing. Wait, I can do it.
There you go, Max. Good. Look for the right hand. Look for the right hand. There you go. There you go. There you go. Get those feet back on there. Good. There you go. Good. Okay, cool.
Bro, this is scary.
There you go. Hop on the top of that. Nice and easy. I'll meet you around the wall. All right, Max. Max, you're coming down this side.
Okay, you're not coming up?
I'll come meet you up there.
Nice, man. Easily done. Yo, hey man, you gonna come to the other side?
Yeah. Justin, you gonna climb up?
It's crazy to think that, what's his name, Alex Honnold just like climbs a skyscraper.
Did you watch him?
Yeah, I saw all the clips of it.
He's a nuts dude. I would say like, most people could do that route.
Most people could what?
Like, I think you could do a good portion of that route he did.
Oh, I didn't
But the
know
thing is that he just doesn't feel fear. Like if you were to get on a bar, how many pull-ups straight?
30, 35.
Jesus Christ. I think you have this unique ability. I haven't noticed this in a lot of founders, but what's so wild to me is when I hang out with Max, I want to be like undeniably great. And I think that's like something very different than just being great. And I see it in the people, young people, especially who come to Superpower, who look at you and all of a sudden just have this fire in their belly. And it's so wild to me. And I actually don't get this feeling very often with founders, but I see it a lot in athletes. And I was so curious to see, you have the sports background, but where do you think that came from?
So I'm obsessed with this idea of how do you give someone belief?
Yeah.
And I think most people can do way more than they think they can do.
Yeah.
Someone asked me on the team the other day, they said, if you could see what your life is going to be like in 50 years' time, knowing you couldn't modify it, would you want to? I'd be like, yes. And they're like, what if you saw that you had everything you possibly wanted and more? What would your response be? And my kind of response was like, I'd want to beat it.
You raised $30 million. This is way back at the Series A. First of all, we have beef because Giannis almost came to SF here. And you didn't get, you didn't push the needle here. And he's an investor in Superpower, man. I would have been so excited to see him on the Warriors. And so in this announcement, $30 million Series A, we have like, Giannis, Steve Aoki, like Ariel Zuckerberg, Sean Puri, all these crazy investors. And then the first thing, this is Max Musings. This is in your newsletter. You say, how do you feel about this announcement? And you say, we shouldn't even be celebrating hype. Milestones don't count. It's easy to get addicted to hype. It's easy to delude ourselves into thinking that capital means success. It doesn't. The job's not done yet. In fact, we've hardly started. Wild to me. This to me feels the closest to something like Kobe Bryant said. It's like job's not finished.
Yeah, I think that everything is relative.
Yeah.
And if we actually look at the great scheme of what's being, the world and the scheme of what's been created in the world,
Yeah.
building a couple $100 million company, building a $1 billion company is trivial. Like it's like 0.00001% of the world. Therefore, you've done basically nothing in the world. Right? And if we assume that everything that exists in the world is still a fraction of what humans can do, we can say even if you've done everything in the world, you've still done a fraction of what humans can do. And the kind of implication there is like the job's never finished. One of my friends was writing an article, and she kind of anonymously featured me in it, saying, "I know this founder who used to say he's not dating until the Series A. Now he's saying he's not dating until the Series." And I say that kind of facetiously, but like the implication there is, let's assume tomorrow we're a $10 billion company.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy about it. I wouldn't be proud about it. I'd be like, we're still early. We still haven't done anything yet. SpaceX is IPOing for 1.75 trillion, provides soon to be a large amount of the planet with like access to information and internet everywhere. So yeah, I don't think the job's ever finished. We're doing V1s, all right? Like there are V7s here.
Going to go up pretty high. Yeah, they go all the way, probably in this stream, probably going to see like there's a V10 right there. So that might be the highest one up.
This yellow one looks interesting. Probably too hard.
This one's really good. I think you'd like this one.
I think that's too hard.
This one's very muscly. Maybe get a little warmer though.
Okay.
There you go. Big right hand. Good. There you go. Nice. Next one's good. There you go. Ramp hired all of these people who are like very young, and for about a year, nothing really happened. All of a sudden, these young people grow up. They're getting a little smarter. They've been trained with experienced people, and they just, wow, every single move they make is unreal. And so would love to hear Superpower. What kind of people do you hire at Superpower? And tell me about it. How do these young, like what strategy would you hiring young people?
Well, if someone is truly one of the best people on earth, by the time they're 35, they're unhireable, they're probably starting a unicorn company, right? So like, and the interesting thing is like, how do you find someone who's gonna start a unicorn company in the future, but you bring them in so early that they're gonna learn and work alongside you?
Yeah.
I think that tends to always mean you need to find someone young. Now the catch with finding someone young is that they're unproven, they're underrated. Right. So it's kind of like, what are the signals we can look for to know how good someone is before we actually, before they're proven.
Yeah.
And I tend to look for someone who, it's probably like, if I were to like simplify it down to two variables, well, there's actually one intuitive variable. It's like, do I enjoy chatting with the person? And honestly, if I enjoy chatting with the person, a lot of the time they're going to be really cracked, because I tend to enjoy chatting with people who are like smart, philosophical, we're having complex conversations, we're reasoning, we're debating. But if I was to actually like provide a like less hand wavy vibes based, there's probably two things that are interesting. One is, has the person been the best at things they have done in the past? Right? I think if someone has consistently been the best, they've been the best at school, they've been the best at sport, they've been the best at e-gaming, they've been the best at chess, whatever. So long as there are like a couple of things where someone has reached like elite 0.01% levels, that's a really positive sign, and tends to show conscientiousness, IQ, obsession. And then the other probably second thing I'd look for is having some sort of entrepreneurial flair. Right? You want someone who has bucked the trends, bucked the norm, taken some risk. And if you look for those two things, like IQ proxied by being the best at certain things, and entrepreneurialism proxied by like things that buck the norm, I think that's a great way to identify like underrated talent.
That's really interesting. Do you feel like your approach to hiring is pretty controversial at this time, or do you think it's pretty accepted?
I think people talk about underrated talent, they don't actually do it. And it's very hard to do. Like there's someone in the company right now who everyone thinks is like insanely cracked. And when we first hired this person, the kind of person who was his manager was like to me, Max, I don't know, I think we should fire them. I was like, no, just you wait. And the number of times I have to say to people on the team, like, just you wait about someone, and that person becomes insanely cracked, is really interesting. So I do think when you hire underrated talent, you can't expect them to be elite right from the get-go. Instead, you need to bet on the fact that their growth curve or slope is going to be far higher than like the average person growth curve or slope.
Interesting, that's so wild. And so how do you have that gut feeling that they're going to be great?
I think it's still these things, right? Which I enjoy chatting with them. They seem high IQ. They're doing great at different things they've set their mind to. They're entrepreneurial. They can grapple with problems. They're very good at reasoning. They tend to have opinions, taste. They've often done many small things in their life, even if they don't appear on their resume. The small things they've done kind of like add up and contribute to the broader whole. And then how long do you give it? Like 3 months probably, maximum, maybe 6 months. But if someone does not show, I'm not saying they have to get to an elite place in 3 months. I'm saying you need to see the shape of their curve within 3 months. And I think someone great has a really steep curve, and therefore after 3 months, they're provably doing great work.
Let's hit some climbs.
It looks easy, but it's probably harder than it looks.
Jesus, that was
Nice.
That was a horrible way to climb this.
Are you meant to touch the top? Is that the thing?
This one's at top of the wall, yeah. So it's 2 hands on the top to finish this one.
How did you know that? Is that like...
Just because they didn't mark it, I think.
Okay.
So if they mark it as a finish.
It's interesting how much like knowing what goes where makes a big difference.
It really does. Look for that right hand first. There's an easy right hand on your side.
Oh, I see.
There you go.
I think I'm gonna go left hand.
Okay, give it a shot. Bingo. There you go. Something for me has been like, the skills that got me to be a founder is just like very grunt work, very like, let's just get to the next step, let's move to the next level. And then very quickly, there was this shift in, oh wait, the skills that got me to here made me a great founder. But as soon as I hire my first employee, I'm like, ooh, all of a sudden I'm a leader now. And it's like the same skills just changed very rapidly for me. And so I'd love to hear your advice, like for me and for other founders, about what was it like to go from, in your career, we're moving to the next level, we're like grunt work founder, to like, I need to be a leader now.
I think I've always thought a lot about the whole like leadership idea. And I don't think it doesn't mean you don't do grunt work. I think the grunt work's just of a different kind, right?
Right.
In many respects, my job with the team is to like give people what they want.
Yeah.
I think another thing is being very good at storytelling. In the sense of having someone excited to be on the journey with you. And I think a lot about whenever we work with any partner, any agency, or hiring anyone, what's the story that is going to get them really excited? And that story is not a monolithic story that's the same for everyone. It has to come from an understanding of what someone wants as well.
Yeah.
The story has to play into that. I think probably the third thing is, I think a lot about empowerment. Even in this conversation, you would have heard I've never said the word employee.
Yeah.
I've never said the word person who works for me.
Yeah.
I've said the word team member.
Yeah.
I've said the word person who works alongside me. I think the fourth thing is like directness and feedback. Like we should have a culture where we're able to like give feedback very directly and as like continuously as possible.
Yeah.
And that's very hard. You do need an element of psychological safety and trust for that. But I think people who truly have a steep growth curve and want to improve hunt out feedback and obsess over getting feedback.
Honestly, would love to hear even with Superpower, because I think at one point, Superpower was a new kid on the block. Everybody was like, wow, Superpower is the craziest thing ever. And now it still is. I mean, everybody loves Superpower, and Superpower is really cool. I would love to hear 5, 10 years from now, what is it like and what are the strategies to maintain brand perception over time?
Brand requires constantly taking risk. Massive amounts of risk.
Yeah.
And over time, brands become muted and neutral and stop standing for things.
Yeah.
Taking risk is Steve Jobs doing the 1984 Apple commercial. Taking risk is like Nike, I think, sponsoring Michael Jordan with shoes that were not allowed on the court and being willing to pay the fines. Is there a... There we go. Okay. Fuck. No, grip started slipping. Yeah, okay, this was the end of hard. I think I've got
What's
the
good is,
fingers.
if you get out of that, every single thing up there is probably like
that's
solid
probably
for
fine.
you. You
Yeah,
might feel really
agreed.
good on that. I am also really weak at this stuff, so we'll see.
You go, then I'll do one more, and then maybe we call the climbing. Woo, nice, man.
Jesus. This is not an easy 4. You picked a good one.
Yeah, that was nice. Okay.
What's so interesting to me in like just being a founder is like, there are a lot of opportunities that were in front of me the whole time that were hiding in plain sight, but I couldn't see them until I became more experienced. And so I'm curious for yourself in the health space where you're looking at, what are some things that are hiding in plain sight that you see that others don't?
I think people massively underrate big markets. And another way of saying this is people are linear, markets, big markets are exponential. So most of the things hiding in plain sight are the things that everyone thinks are big but too competitive or too obvious or too overdone. Yeah. And I think like if I look at that in health, GLP-1s are like the classic example.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, this is like so obvious. Everyone knows this. You can't create a big business which is even remotely related to this.
Yeah.
I actually think we're like early in a decade-long mega trend of GLP-1s and peptides. And it's like patently obvious, but I think people are massively underpricing it, not by a factor of like 2 or 3, but by a factor of like 10 to 1,000. I think every human on Earth will at least try peptides. And in the world of bio and science, we can access tools to improve biology and make people better and younger and fitter and smarter and healthier. No company in the world owns this theme. There's no company you go to for peptides.
You want to hit this 5?
I don't think I'll be able to.
We just did a 3, right? Let's find a 4.
Oh, the 4 is going to be hard, but I'll give it a go.
Let's, I think I saw some, there's some on the other side.
No, I think let's do the other one. It's a little quieter as well.
Let's do it. There's a 5 going this way, a 4 going this way, and if you start from here, it's a 3.
Okay.
We're taking that one out.
That's crap.
Do you think AI will eventually be all you need as a doctor?
People don't think about health. The AI does everything. You don't think about it. It ships you what you need. It's constantly monitoring you. Once the AI has enough context, and it can know exactly what is right for you, exactly what you want, we relegate a lot of decision-making to the AI. So I think the AI doctor looks like we go to the algorithm that runs our life without us making decisions or having to think about it.
And people trust it.
And people trust it.
Completely.
Blindly.
The idea that no one's really owned the stack yet. And so like what I described to be the stack in health is like, you know, every day you order from like DoorDash, for example, and you have a list of all of your orders. You go to sleep on your 8 sleep and you have all of your data on your 8 sleep, right? You're wearing your Oura Ring every day. You're wearing your Apple Watch. You track your workouts. And so there's this world in which with enough context, you could predict everything about what you need, right? Which is like, hey, like, by the way, I think you're gonna get sick next week because your body temperature has been going up. You've been ordering like fast food every single day and you haven't been sleeping. All of a sudden you're getting sick. I'm really curious about this world in which somebody owns like what I call like this health stack. How close are we to this? Is this something in the near future? Is this something that could happen tomorrow? Like what is the timeline on this?
It's not going to be one company that owns the health stack. And there's going to be lots of companies that own different parts. And there'll probably be one company that like orchestrates it. I think we're like reasonably well positioned to orchestrate it. I think OpenAI is very well positioned to orchestrate it. We're still yet to see.
Is that something you have ambitions to do for Superpower for sure?
Well, we want to be a new health system. And that means allowing someone to come to us to get most of their healthcare. And if this counts as most of healthcare, and I'd say it does, then like, yes.
100%. There you go. There you go, Max. Good, you need a left hand to get up to the next one. Go left hand. It's hidden by the white. See it?
Wait, where?
There.
That, yeah, yeah.
Up to the left. There you go. There you go. Good, your next ones are right. And you gotta stand up into those feet to make it feel good. Oh, you're close. It's a good attempt. You want to stay on? We should stay on this one.
Oh, it's pretty hard. I'll give it a go again.
Take a break though, take a break.
Yeah, okay. I do think hand strength matters a lot. Like I actually do think where I give out is like that crimp strength.
I think so.
And now the forearms are fried.
Yeah, we should take a little breather on that.
And so crazy how quickly your forearms get fried.
And you're trying really hard, which is so cool to see, because you're like really hanging on there. A lot of times the attempts will be like, as soon as you're on, you get on there as much as you can, and you just hop off, and you're like, okay, if I don't get it,
Yeah.
and then you go again.
Oh,
Save some time.
Yeah.
3 guiding questions before starting a company.
One is what is personally meaningful. What matters to you? What have you always been energized by? Two is what is globally meaningful? What matters to the world? What is robust post-AGI? And then three is what can support at least $100 billion outcome.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something for a long time, you should hope you can compound. So personally meaningful, globally meaningful, $100 billion outcome. And if you answer those three things, then you can build a good company.
This actually helped me so much in my career, which is like, you actually made this a while back. This is back in 2021, how to design your career. And so your heuristics, I have them for you, but would love if you could describe them a little bit. So there's the nature heuristic.
Match your career to your nature, right? It's kind of like what do you like doing on weekends? What did you like doing as a kid? What comes easy to you? What energizes you? The learning heuristic is basically like when in your early career, when deciding between two options, pick the option that allows you to learn the most. The third heuristic was the kind of option heuristic, which says choose the option that kind of creates more options. Do that, increase optionality until you find the thing that is the thing, then burn the boats, right? So explore, find the thing, then exploit. And what was the last one?
And the last one's risk heuristic.
Oh yeah, the risk heuristic is basically just like take more risk, particularly when you're younger. It's like one of the few times that it's easier to take risk. So like if you have the choice between the risky decision and not the risky decision, we should not only always choose the risky decision. We like chronically underrate risk. Chronically overrate risk. So we always think things are riskier than they are because of the nature of our like hunter-gatherer brains, where like, in hunter-gatherer days, little rustle in the bush was risky. It's probably not risky anymore. Yeah. So we like overestimate how risky things are. Therefore, we should tend to choose the risky thing.
Mm-hmm. That's super interesting. And your definition of work-life balance, quote unquote, is one of the most I've ever heard. So I'm really curious, how would you define work-life balance?
I just call it life, right? Every single day, I'm like, what do I want to do? And what I want to do is build a great company. And I'll make sure that just about every single minute of my waking life is spent doing the thing I want to do most, which is creating a great company. And people are like, oh, you're working. I'm like, I'm not working on it. I'm enjoying this. It's like meaningful to me. Some people would be like, you have no life. I prefer to say you have no work.
I really would love to hear, do you have any advice for me?
Yeah, probably take maximum amounts of risk. Work insanely hard. If I'm not saying you need to want what I want, so I'd be like, interrogate what you want. If you want what I want, like sacrifice most things, work insanely hard, probably invest in brand, relationships, media, learning, read a lot, read obsessively, learn obsessively, and like there's no middle of the road path, right? It's extreme or nothing. So yeah.